Hello and welcome to episode 26 of the Crushing Through Life podcast with your hosts, Rob and Jim. It is July 26, 2021. And as always, let's start off with today's quote. You're always looking to improve. You're always being critiqued on your next performance. It's not about what you've done. There's always room to grow. And that quote comes from Misty Copeland. Misty Copeland is a professional American ballet dancer for ABT, one of the three leading classical ballet companies in the US. On June 30th, 2015, Copeland became the first African-American woman to be promoted to principal dancer in ABT's 75-year history. In addition to her dance career, Copeland has become a public speaker, celebrity spokesperson, and stage performer. Today, I would like to introduce a guest to our show. We have our dear friend here, Nicholas Capobianco. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Nick.
Good, man. Hey, guys. Thanks
Welcome
for having
to
me.
the show. Nick
Round of applause.
A round of applause. Here we go.
All around.
Yeah.
Nick is an account executive team lead for his company, Roofer.com. That's spelled ROOFR.com. They're one of the leading all-in-one sales platform for roofing. By 2017, Roofer was admitted to Y Combinator, propelling Roofer.com into the tech world spotlight and allowing Roofer to raise millions of dollars in venture capital funding from many high-profile investors. Today, Roofer.com operates on a multinational level, serving thousands of roofing contractors across North America. Quite a big feat for them. So congrats on all your success. I know you've been working very hard on that. And it's good to have you here, man.
Thanks, guys. I'm very happy to be a part of it. Been
Yeah.
long-time listener, first-time call.
Very nice.
Obviously, other than
Rob, I think-
I was going to say, other than Nick's professional career, he's been a long time dear friend. Between Jim and I, we've been in a band together during our high school years.
We don't talk about those days, though.
Well, okay. some MP3s may be floating out there in the dark web. Who knows? Who knows? What were you going to say, Jim?
I think you said it was July 26th.
I definitely said that.
It's July 6th. We'll just make sure it's early July.
Sometimes it's July 26th and sometimes it's July 6th. Who knows? It doesn't
That's
matter.
a good point.
In this particular case, it's the 6th.
Jim, I've never thought about it the way he put it, but he might be right.
He's absolutely correct. Yeah. So Nick, I'm always curious, when we obviously we've only ever had the two guests on, but it's kind of cool to look back, having Terry and Jess and when we sort of met them. But do you remember the first time meeting myself and Rob? Do you remember those days back in high school?
I do. I'll start off with the Rob. Was grade 10, I believe. We're on the second floor of our school at Cardinal Carter, and I opened up my Carter. I opened up my locker, and Rob stuck an Alexis on Fire sticker on it, and I was terrified that I was going to get in trouble. And then we started talking, became friends. As per most of our group, we started becoming friends and because of music and started talking about music. So that was the first time I met Rob. He's trying to get me suspended. It was fantastic. We dodged a bullet there, so that was good. Jim, it's one of two places. It was either grade 9 drama class where Jim had black hair, and oh boy. Or it was grade 8 soccer for the Aurora soccer team. It was right before I went into Cardinal Carter. It's my first time playing with Aurora, and I was on, I think it was yours and Greg Borges's team.
Wow. So I don't remember that. So for me, the first time I think I remember meeting you is maybe it was grade 9. I thought it was grade 9 gym class, but I know we had a bunch of stuff together. Either way, it was grade 9. for sure. But yeah, anyways, it's cool to like hear the story, right? Because like Rob and I told the story of how we met, and it's very magical, romantic moment. I played him Tool on the bass, and that was it.
It was wonderful.
I'm
I
very easy.
I loved hearing that on the podcast. It was beautiful, and it was much better than my first time of meeting Rob, where he tried to get me kicked out of Cardinal Carter High School at a young age.
It would take a lot more than a sticker, I'll tell you that much.
Listen, I just wanted you to make sure that this band is the best, and it was important, and I wanted you to see it. Wanted you to see it daily every time.
The only band ever. That's
the only
sure.
band ever. That's it, man. So, boys, how was your Canada Day? Did you celebrate it at all? Did you spend time with your family? How did it go? Why don't you start with Nick, since he's the guest today?
Yeah.
No, that's nice. I had a pretty easygoing Canada Day. Well, the Thursday I worked, Friday I worked, Saturday I hung out with two of our friends, Rocco and Andrew Ramsey, and we played a nice game of frisbee golf down by the waterfront in Toronto. And
how was that?
Way harder than I thought it was going to be. I could throw a mean frisbee, I could tell you that, but my aiming,
I could picture you
not so
being
much.
Wild throwing it.
Never.
A lot of distance. I could get the distance down pat. It was when I was within 5 feet of the pin, I guess you would call it, and I would just not even come close to it. Because the thing is, the pin is steady, whereas when you're playing frisbee with friends, they can move. So I've never really had to aim. I just throw it in your general vicinity, and you can get to it. So
I never thought about that. So how does it work? Like, do you have to set a tee time for that? Like, are there a bunch of people and you just wait on the waiting list, or is it kind of just a free for all? Like, I could picture it needing some organization.
Yeah, typically, like if you go we all went to the Kettle Creek golf tournament. I know you talked about it on the last episode, but there is frisbee golf there, and you would have to set tee times. They also have soccer golf, which we should all try to do at one point.
That would another disaster waiting to happen.
But the one on the lakeshore is just like 9 holes that are in that big park when you're driving down Lakeshore Boulevard on like at the water. There's just 9 holes, and they have like little tee areas, and then they're kind of, the pins are set up. Just kind of go. There were people playing. Like we let a couple people go through because we were horrible, and they had multiple frisbees for multiple distances. It was like a set of golf clubs, and I asked so many questions. So many questions.
Those are some serious frolfers or whatever it's called.
Ooh, frolfer sounds
Frolfers.
cool.
I haven't heard that
Isn't
before.
it like isn't it frisbee golf? Like, isn't it a short term? Or
it's
no?
a term now.
Making it up.
Coin it.
That's it, man. Jim, how was your day?
So I worked Canada Day. Our company decided to have the Friday off instead. Just to like set up the long weekend. I never really do anything for it anyways. I can't remember the last time I like really would have done something. It's been a long time. I mean, it was fine, I guess. Like, I went to a friend's house, and that was it.
Well, it is what it is,
Yeah.
man. Sometimes we just need to work on the day, and then the next day we have off. So that's awesome. Good to spend time with friends during this this whole pandemic. You know, now that things are starting to open up, I feel like we can start to do that a little bit more.
Yeah, I think I literally just watched the Euro Cup, and then at like later on at night watched the hockey game. Is kind of lazy sports day.
Boom.
It poured rain at one point. Like, I ran outside, got soaked for a second. It was like a swim in my bathing suit. It was nice.
Speaking of swimming, my Canada Day, I mean, it was my brother's 39th birthday.
So we narrowed it down, eh?
Narrowed it down.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm terrible with numbers. Who would have known?
Where does Nico get it from?
Yeah.
Obviously
Great
not
point.
from me.
God.
My son is great with numbers, and definitely from the wife's side, that's for sure. But yeah, my brother turned 39 that day, and we ended up having a pool party at my parents' place. He had some friends come over. It was a very small gathering. It was typically his birthday parties. We have a big pool party where I invite my group of friends, and his group of friends is a much bigger invite, and it's a big blast. Unfortunately, we couldn't do that this year, obviously. So that was shortly missed, but it was a lot of fun. My wife and we took the Friday off after Canada Day because it landed on Thursday this year, and we just had a party, man. Ate a lot of food, drank, was very merry and all that stuff. Ended up crashing at my parents' place,
Safety first.
Safety first, of course. But it was kind of brutal because during the pool party, I was hitting the beach ball back and forth with my brother, and I dove for one of the balls, and I ended up gashing my foot on the stairs, and it still to this day is killing me. It's like swollen, hurts really, really bad.
May I interrupt?
Yes, go ahead.
Jim, are you surprised that he cut his foot in the pool?
I was trying to hold it in. I'm like, oh man, I could picture Rob there's just no way that I'd be shocked for this to happen. I'm picturing how you would gash it, but then it's you, so it's like, of course you would have gashed it.
At one point, my mom made a comment saying, "You're looking a little wobbly today." I'm like, it was planned.
A few wobbly pops.
So anyways, that happened, and had a great time the rest of the night. Bandaged it up, whatever. Had a great party afterwards.
Yeah, your parents have a good setup for especially like a Canada Day type, birthday party environment.
Yeah, it was great.
Nice little around the fireplace area, pool.
Yeah, it's little gas fireplace too. But yeah, they actually just finished their basement, which is finally fully renovated. So it's nice, like be able to like go inside of the basement and use the washroom, use the kitchen. There's a TV there or whatever. Instead of like walking up and down the stairs, which we usually did before the renovation. But yeah, actually, one of the Sebastian's friends, which was very, very nice of her, made him a cake for his birthday, which was like a Reese double chocolate cake with Reese cups on it, and it was glorious. I had a slice of this. I'm like, this is 350 calories right here.
It sounds so rich. Like that one bite of that has got to be like tasty. I'm not into the super sweet, so like I would try maybe one, but that's like too rich for me.
Yeah,
for my blood.
Same here. Chocolate is not my favorite, but Reese is where I draw that line. I will eat Reese.
So good.
Fall down.
It's Nico's favorite chocolate. He loves it. So anything with Reese, it's his favorite candy for sure. But yeah, I ended up crashing at my parents' place that night, and I don't know what exactly what happened to me, but the next day I woke up covered in hives, just like literally neck to the foot, and I guess it was possibly a harsh detergent that was used on the comforter my mom gave me or whatever. But then like I woke up, so I'm feeling a little weak in the morning the next day after the party, gashed on my foot, and then just broke out in hives for the next 2 days. It was brutal.
This is the most standard Rob story ever.
For the listeners, anybody who doesn't know Rob super well personally, Rob has the fantastic ability of getting hurt or potentially breaking something by pure accident anytime. One time we were going up to my family's cottage, and my mom's like, "Oh, who's y'all going?" Jim, Rob, Rob Buckner, Rocco, Rob Damaro, and she said, "Is he going to break anything?" And that was like her first question as a joke. Just because like we always have made it known from back in the band days that if anything broke too, like even if it was one of our other faults, we would always blame it on Rob. It was
that's great.
It was escape plan.
There was a night in high school. Rob Damaro, we were hanging out with our other friend Nelson, and he came over, and Nelson and I ate about 100 packages of those little Popeye cigarette sticks. And Nelson made a pyramid on my mom's coffee table in the living room, and Rob Damaro kicked it over, and Nelson just lost his mind because he was so mad. Then Rob's putting down his drink. He had like an open bottle of Pepsi. I don't know why he didn't put the lid on for some reason. And he put it on the table and continued to just move it as if there was like a sweet spot to leave it there rather than just in the middle where it was fine. and he just kept pushing until it fell off the back, and we had to pick up a spill. And then this is all one night. We go to change a CD. I think we were putting in like Monine or something over by the CD player, and you still had the same bottle. There was some left, and you just brought it down so fast as you went to sit that the liquid didn't move with the bottle, and it just floated out of the top and landed. And he was like, "Jim, I think your mom needs to start looking to buy a new house here." I think we were like 16, maybe 17 at the time.
It kills me that you mentioned that the bottle was open, because my wife tells me all the time, like, can you close your water bottle lids when you put them on? Because I'm looking at my water bottle right now, and it is fully open, as you can see.
Yeah, that's a hazard for you.
And I'm
surprised you haven't learned.
Over. You know what? Yeah, it takes time, I guess.
The harsh lessons.
Do you guys remember the time after band practice we're in in my family basement, and we're watching TV? I think I was putting it on your mother or something, and Rob was sitting beside us bouncing a medicine ball up and down. I was like, "Rob, don't do that." And he's like, "Why?" Something. He's like, "No, I won't."
Exercise ball?
Yeah, those giant exercise bouncy medicine balls. And as he said, "No, I won't," he bounced it finger and shot directly at the TV and hit it dead on and started shaking the flats. I just turned around. I was like, "Say, what would I just say?"
That's one of those times where everybody in the room wants to laugh, but you're just like, as in like, is it okay? And no one breathes. And then once it's okay, everyone erupts in laughter. I remember it was one of those times.
I don't recall any of these stories. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can plead the fifth.
You must be thinking of a different, different friend of ours.
Can I get back to my weekend stories now?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, you wake up, you're not feeling the greatest. You have hives, and you have a gashed foot.
Yes, thank you. And the next day, I'm dying from the hives. Colloidal oatmeal, like using eczema cream, and it's just like itchy and my whole skin's burning and all that. After a couple of days, I have my scheduled second dose, and my second dose is Moderna. I had Pfizer for my first dose. So I'm like, it should be fine. The first dose was okay. Probably a sore arm, no problem. The very next day, flu-like symptoms. Me and my wife were just both wiped out.
So you both had the same result?
Both same, like she got it worse than I did, but mine was like, it was like nausea, my whole body is aching, pounding headache. I woke up with a pounding headache. I usually don't wake up with really, really bad headaches, but yeah, it was pretty brutal.
It's very exciting for Jess and I. Then we are going to get the Moderna shot after taking Vise the first time tomorrow morning.
So be prepared. Be prepared to have a crappy day. I don't know. Everyone's different, right? Like you might be okay. Who knows? But let me know. I guess we'll talk about it on the next episode. But yeah, between having like these symptoms from Moderna, the hives, the foot. On top of that, to end it all off on the lovely Sunday, I got this friggin' huge zit on my nose, and it's just I'm depressed.
It honestly, that sounds like the least of your issues. Like it's just the cherry on top, literally, with the rest being the whole weekend.
Quite
but I mean, compared to everything else, like no one cares. You're already married. You're all good.
Sounds like a fantastic Canada Day weekend.
It was. Other than that, like the party was fantastic. So what can I say? The rest of the weekend was kind of crappy, and I haven't had a lot of crappy weekends. So there's always one that comes up every now and again. The other day, actually, I filmed with my cousin Julian for the first time, which is really awesome. So my cousin Julian, for those that don't know, he actually has a YouTube channel called Future Space Collective. If you search for Future Space Collective, really, really cool channel that shows a lot of futuristic products that you can purchase for your home and decor and all that. Different lighting, different star projectors, really, really cool. And his quality of production is just, it's perfect, man. He was
I got this mic.
That's right. Yeah, he recommended the mic to you and all that. Yeah. But yeah, his quality of production level and editing is just unreal. But anyways, his I guess his camera assistant moved to, I think he said Montreal, and he needed some help. So I ended up going to his place. I was like, absolutely love hanging out with you, and it would be awesome to work with you and see and learn about cameras and editing and talk about YouTube and all that. So hopefully this becomes like a regular occurrence. Like whenever he needs me, I'm always going to be excited to go down there, because I just want to be a sponge with that sort of information. I feel like all that's important, right? Especially when I want to start working on my YouTube channel, and even working on Crushing Through Life. Everything that he's showing me is very important. But yeah, I opened up the door and I'm like, oh, okay, we're gonna like probably film a product and then just chill out and hang out afterwards. Open the door and he's like, all right, man, you excited? You ready? We're gonna film 7 products tonight. I'm like, whoa, 7
Whoa.
I'm like, all right, man, whatever. Like, let's do this. Even if I arrived there, I arrived at like 8 o'clock. I'm like, even if this takes to 3 a.m., I don't care. Like, I love doing this stuff anyway. So like, I was down to like do the whole list. But we only got to like 4, and then like he was kind of feeling tired. I was like, you know what, it's 7. You're right. Someone was kind of ambitious. Let's just call it quits at 4. And
he brings a lot of energy, so I could see, you know, if you're kind of fading at the end, like, you know, you can't tell from his video that he would do that many, and like from many of his videos that I've seen, that he would do that many in one night. So I could picture, like, you know, having that energy being pretty important to him.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. You know, like I had the headset on. I was working 2 cameras. I was checking the audio level. He was teaching me about exposure and ISO levels and like how to zoom in and zoom out. You call it follow the puck, where like you're following the hands. So I'm like with the camera following the hands for the B-roll and all that. So it was a really cool experience, and I learned a lot. So hopefully I get to do more of that with them.
Did you?
Yeah.
It would honestly be my biggest nightmare to have you, of all people, from what we just were talking about over, with your open cap water bottles in his house full of electronics.
Oh,
like, there can't be a worse spot for you to be in.
There was a time where I put the
of course there was.
There was a time where I put the water bottle down on the product table, which is like this clean white table for his shot, but there was nothing on it. It was during one of our breaks. And I'm like, and then so that like I was like, oh, I should probably move that bottle. So I moved it and I put it over like in the kitchen area. Then I saw, but I didn't mention anything. And I saw him like wipe down the moisture off the table. I'm like, yeah, sorry, man, I shouldn't move. He's like, hey, it's okay. But oh god, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That'd be a big fear of mine, having you over to a house full of electronics.
Rob trips over the cables, takes down the entire lighting rig.
Julian's gonna listen to this. He's gonna be laughing. So, buddy, I apologize. I will be better with my water bottle next time that we film. I promise. I definitely don't want that touching anywhere near your stuff.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool, though, man. It's a great opportunity, like you said, to be a sponge in that environment. So, that's
especially
pretty
with him.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, especially with him.
Yeah, he's so talented. I'm a sucker for him because he's one of my good friends as well. But yeah, he's just so talented. It's really cool, especially with your goals, Rob, of like growing the YouTube channel, like you said. He's someone that we could really learn from, and especially the fact that he's your cousin makes it all the better. So good on you for taking that dive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, and honestly, I owe it all up to him. Like, he decided to invite me into this world, and it's really, really cool. So
sounds like he birthed you.
It's kind of funny though, because like when we were younger, we always talked about technology back and forth, and we're very much into computers at an early age. We definitely like had an upbringing and a common like liking towards technology and all that as we grew, man. So I remember back in the day, like watching old, I don't know if you remember Flash animation videos, stupid stuff like that. And like I actually like downloaded Flash, and we like learned how to make our own. We made our own like stick figure Flash animations and all that. And we designed our own website on this like free hosting back in the, oh my God, late 90s. Man, that brings me back. And I wonder if he remembers that.
Yeah, Greg used to show me all those videos all the time, from probably, the early 2000s to like all throughout high school.
Boom. There you go.
Yeah.
Last final note that I had for today for myself was I actually had a really, really, really good workout, and I owe it all up to the crappy weekend. So there is silver lining to the how I felt after
This is
what happened.
Today's workout, yesterday's?
Today's workout, a couple hours before this podcast. Amazing workout. Motivated, crunched through, got my son involved, and it felt like I don't know, I guess I started working out like a year and a half ago now, or maybe 2 years ago. But I felt like my old self where I was working out with my son and I was just killing it, and it was awesome. So and I think it was because I just had a crappy weekend, man. I even did like the jumping jacks running back and forth in my apartment here. And I eventually I had to stop and because my foot was starting to kill. I was like, okay, I don't want to push it too much, but it made me miss running. Like I want to get back into running, although it's like the just brutal outside in terms of the heat. So
it's quite hot. Yeah,
it's quite hot.
Spicy.
But yeah, man, I feel like I'm back on the horse, dude. Like I want to get back into my daily workouts and kill them, because I just feel like they've been inadequate. On top of which, like I've gained weight. Like the past couple of months, I had a huge pizza addiction. Oh God, dude, I ordered so much pizza. Like, when I went to my parents' place, because my dad's got a pizza oven, like I would just kill pizza because it's just so good. But it's definitely coming from like my sugar addiction and all that, and I'm just trying to, you know what, go back to skipping breakfast, which is part of the fasting that I used to do. Eat lunch, eat dinner, which is what I did today, and get back in. Like for me, like, oh man, I'm constantly on this roller coaster ride, but I feel like the roller coasters just the ups and downs are getting shorter, and just more up in terms of.
Well, that's good, man. And obviously it's nice to be on the positive note, like especially after you have a crappy weekend, food health wise, maybe. And having a great workout always like makes you want to get ready for the next one. I guess kind of an interesting question, because you're talking about fasting, that kind of thing. Like, Nick, what's your nutrition? Like I feel like you eat pretty well, all things considered. Do you do breakfast, lunch, dinner, and what's your eating habits?
Yeah, so I have bad cravings for certain foods too. While we're on this topic and on the topic of pizza, never thought that I'd be invited on this podcast, so I will take the opportunity to say, Rob, I ordered from Uber Eats because I was in Hamilton and I did not know where to find the pizza. So I just wanted to say that from the last podcast.
43940, so that's all you dial.
That's true. Dominic Pramuch would know so much, but
Dominic Pramuch will deliver.
It was a long day. It was a long day.
It was a long day. The Hess took a toll on us with those lovely old fashions. But the new fashions. Yeah, like I was horrible. I am horrible with fast food. I love fast food, like garbage fast food too, not even like good stuff. So over the past year and a half, I've really kind of worked to keep myself away from that stuff. One of the benefits of living by yourself is you could put nothing in your house that you're going to be tempted to eat. I have no junk food in my house at all, because I will eat it immediately and I have no willpower for it. So I do intermittent fasting. I stop eating at around 8 o'clock at night. We'll eat again around 11 to 12 the next day. During the week, I try to go. Oops, go ahead, Jim. Sorry.
So you don't do breakfast, or are you about to get to that? You skip it altogether?
I skip it altogether.
Yeah, I don't eat breakfast either, but it's kind of like I don't know, just more laziness.
Yeah,
we don't really my first meal of the day is kind of breakfast regardless, but I just go right to work because I start at 9, so I just won't eat until like a little bit later after I get some stuff done. So by the time I'm eating, it's 11 to 12 anyways. So it's like lunch, kind of, depending on the time. Like it's my first meal of the day, but not having cereal every day or something.
Yeah, like I love cereal and I love breakfast foods, but yeah, it's like when I wake up, I want a glass of water and a glass of coffee, and I could usually hold that over until noon or something like that. So makes it a lot better for that. But yeah, even my meals during the week are pretty low carb, if not no carbs. And then on the weekend, I splurge and I order everything that I can. I make sure that I could order enough groceries that will hit that 5-day mark, sometimes 6 days. And then either Saturday or Sunday is my eating out time. And I order lovely pizza from Uber Eats and
That's bad for him.
and burgers.
Yeah,
do you order one meal, one cheat meal on the weekend, or is it like the whole day you're just ordering out?
It depends on the day. Like I've gotten into the habit of working out every day now, so I feel good. So usually on the weekends I like doing long bike rides. So I'll try to do 30, 40K on a weekend, one of the days. It depends. Like usually I try to save up for like a nice big dinner, and I'll order from like a burger place I like, get some fries, and just know that I'll be out on the couch later on that night. But I'll try to make something healthy for lunch or breakfast, like a egg omelet or something. But
where's the best burger? Like where's your couple of your favorite spots? Because I know, like, you know, you said you love burgers, but it's not like
Actually,
every one of our friends knows I love McDonald's. But
yeah,
you know,
I shared a burger place with Nick. That's a good question. I shared a burger place with Nick that was really good. That one time was over your house. What was that place called?
Maddie's Patties.
Yeah, Maddie's Patties. Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah.
It's not in my top 10, but it is good.
I enjoyed it. It was delicious.
No, it was good. It was they're fantastic. But but no, like my right now my top burger place is Aussie Burgers. It's in Kensington.
Oh, yeah.
It's fantastic. Matt's Burger Lab at Queen and Dufferin is fantastic. Tomo Burger on Queen is very good as well. Yeah, there's a lot of places. I love real burgers. That
I think you actually showed us Aussie Burgers at one point. You're like, this is the place when things open up. I'm going to eat here.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Like, this looks amazing. I've never tried it before, and now I got to try it. I remember the pictures that you showed me. It was like, wow, that looks amazing.
It's wonderful. It's
nice.
A lot of it's just and their fries are fantastic too. So it makes up for it. But yeah, there's a lot of the benefit of living in Toronto. There's a lot of really unique spots that you could order from, and for someone who loves burgers like I do, you could find your pick.
Yeah, solid.
Yeah, I remember. So in our workout chat, Nick was in there. Was it just the two of you guys that started it last year, and then you added me in? Yeah. So I mean, you guys like have been there since the beginning of the chat and adding every day. So. But I think, this year you posted the picture of like when the pandemic's done, this is the first place I'm going to go. And I think it was the Aussie Burgers.
I think it was actually from that January challenge we did where there was no cheat meals and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that was my February first meal. Where
actually, let's go into that then, because it's kind of interesting to hear another perspective of it. So like, how did you struggle with that month at all? Rob and I obviously talked about it back in that time, but
yeah, it was enjoy challenges. Whenever I'm off the wagon on the workout train, I normally message you guys and propose a bet, because if I put money where my mouth is, I'm going to get back into it that way. But that one was fun, minus the reading part. But that was really the only challenge for me. I don't drink that much. I'm good with working out twice a day. Kind of stuff I could make happen. It was the no fast food and the reading 10 pages a day, because I'm a audio consumer, not so much a reading one. Rob made fun of me the entire time, said I couldn't read, which is partially true. But yeah, it was really good to kind of push myself to the limits with some of that stuff and really see what I could make happen. So I love making these bets with you guys and really challenging ourselves. Yeah, I think you guys briefly spoke about it. I guess I could bring it up here. I got sick 2 years ago, and from being sick, I gained 58 pounds, 56 pounds, or something like that. Now I'm back down to my original weight. So actually, it was Rob starting that workout group that really kind of got me back into the groove, because chubby Nick was not having a good time working out.
So previously, before you got sick, how often would you work out?
It was I went through phases, just like everything, but like I played soccer 2-3 times a week. I was roofing 5 days, 6 days a week. So I really didn't have to work out. And when I did, I like really saw results because of everything else I was doing. But yeah, it wasn't, I haven't been like in this kind of mode that I'm currently in with you guys, working out every day and kind of waking up and looking forward to it, probably since 9 years ago when I did my half marathon. Wow. Like that was the last time I was doing something like this. So
that's awesome.
That's a pretty cool accomplishment. Yeah.
Well
I mean, it would take me a while to.
And I must say, like even during our golf day, dude, you were looking amazing. So you were killing it for sure. So,
were you checking me out there, Rob? You're checking me out.
How long have you been waiting to hit that?
Yeah, you're killing it, man. Way to go, buddy. You're doing awesome. Keep it up, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, well, the main reason I guess I asked is because it's not a common challenge, so it's pretty interesting to hear, who struggled with what. It seems like we all sort of struggled with fast food. That like that part of it. And I think for me, it's just the convenience of it. Like on the weekend, Jess and I just don't want to do anything. During the week, it's fine. For some reason, it's like we'll just make meals. That's part of how it is, like how you were saying. But on like once it's Friday night, we're like, oh, let's just. Do we want to make anything? We're like, nah. But part of it too is you said you make sure that you have enough food for that. We kind of do a 4-day week almost. So actually, so that kind of reminds me. At the beginning of the year, I made all these goals with you guys. I don't know if I shared them. I probably did, but basically I wanted to work out 210 times in the year, which I am on pace to beat that currently. Right. I wanted to read 6 books that I haven't read before. So far, I have read 1.5. I am liking the book. I'm finding it more difficult recently to kind of get back into a rhythm with that in terms of the reading. But then the next one was I wanted to learn how to cook 20 new meals by myself. I don't know if I'm there yet, but I probably could at this point, just from doing all the good food with Jess. Like we're just having fun. We do it together. So it's not like I'm really kind of doing it separately, but we're grilling a lot of stuff on the barbecue now because it's like Rob said, it's like the sun out there. It's so hot. It's nice. And then some of the stuff, I'll admit, I said I wanted to study poker instead of playing it 3 to 4 hours a week, and I am not doing that. And I wanted to start streaming poker by April, and I'm not doing that. I don't even know if I will. It was kind of like, if I was going to do it, then to get into it. But anyways, I just wanted to update on my half year now that at least the workout one I'm doing, and I feel like with the 20 meals, I probably could do it by the end of the year. But anyways, that's. We're trying to hold on strong for the last part of the year. I do think I'll have more time to study poker if I still want to maintain.
That Jerry clip is 40 seconds long.
What?
Why is it 40 seconds long? I don't know.
That's far too long.
Way too long.
Good. That's really good. Like
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I still think you could hit some of those goals too, like the 20 meals thing. Like you're probably there or close to it, anyways. And like that's 20 meals, and we have 6 months left. That's a lot of time to learn that, even if you're halfway through. The reading one, I think you can get through too. It's just 6 books isn't too much coming from a guy who doesn't read. But
yeah, your words really mean a lot there. Thanks. I know it is audio, so I don't really listen to audio books or anything. I would just be more podcasts or that kind of stuff. But I think I've mentioned before, I'd be more likely to do it if I was driving all the time. But I don't drive anywhere, and that's like where I get the majority of my kind of podcast stuff done. Because when I'm at home, I don't really just listen for too long, like maybe an hour a day I could do. So I don't know how you crush a lot of stuff though, like audio wise.
Yeah, I'm a big audio fan. Working construction, I just loved having one ear pod in at all time, something talking to me, someone there, right? Let the day go by quicker. So that's why I was always into podcasts, and then started getting into audio, consuming a lot of that there. Also, I can't read, but also,
also let people know that you can read.
I can read, but I consume things a lot better from audio. It sticks in my head better for my memory.
I just want people to know that I'm not making fun of an illiterate person right now. Okay.
Borderline.
Yeah, like I can't.
Sometimes you have typos in our chats that I call out. That's all.
I was gonna say I can't spell, but I can read. Like it's a slightly different thing. Actually, Rocco asked me if I was dyslexic this weekend, and he was concerned. Like he said, "Do you think you might be dyslexic?" And I was like, "I don't think so." But he was.
I don't think you are either, because if you look up the definition of dyslexic, what you do with your spelling, like you're just not even close. It's not like you're getting the right letters in the wrong order, or the right, like
that was my defense.
Yeah, you're just not even in the ballpark with some of these ones. Rob's last name, for instance, hasn't been spelled correctly in 15 years of friendship. Yeah. Maybe longer, 17.
Yeah, has my last name been corrected?
Your first name hasn't been corrected. Your first name hasn't been corrected in my chat.
We refuse.
No.
I did want to mention also that last night I had my MRI at 12:45. I had to arrive there. I had to put on one of the gowns and go in. I've only ever had. You guys
should be mentioned.
Oh, AM. Yeah. Last night, so it was like midnight. I had to leave. I left at 20 after midnight to get down the mountain, and I got lost in the hospital. So you have to go in like the one exit that's open, and the woman there is like, yeah, just go past the elevators, take the stairs downstairs, and then she just drifted away. So I go downstairs and
she fades into the background.
Just someone else was talking to her. So anyways, I'm like, all right, I guess there'll probably be signs. I go down there and it's like, I thought I was in the morgue. I'm like, okay, there's not another person in sight. So I'm just wandering around. I see only authorized personnel only at this point. So I'm like, okay, it's probably not this way. I make another turn. There's some guy who works there. His mask is under his chin. So clearly he's fed up with wearing the mask in the hospital. And I was like, this guy, he'll know what's up. So I asked him and he's like, yeah, buddy. But at first when I was like, hey man, can you tell me where the MRIs are? He was like, this is the biggest inconvenience of his life, that to answer my question. He hasn't probably spoken to somebody in hours.
Are you sure he was a real person and not a ghost?
He was. I'm mostly sure that he was real. You couldn't make this guy up. So anyways, he tells me where it is, and I eventually get in there, get undressed. You have to put on the gown and everything. So, they ask me a bunch of questions, all this stuff, and eventually they get in there. And the only MRI I've had was on my foot, and I actually fell asleep in it. I think I told that story on the podcast before. This one was weird because you had to put your hand in. So I had to lie down on my stomach. And my head is kind of leaning up against my left arm while that's outstretched. And then my right one was in this I don't know, weird sort of 90-degree type angle, and the attendant that was helping me, was like, make sure it's in a comfortable position. She tried to help me out with all these different pillows to make sure it was good. Eventually I'm like, whatever, stop worrying about it, let's just get this done. And by the time that I got submerged into the machine, I could already feel my right hand like going a little tingly, like, oh, this is going to be brutal. And then 5 minutes in, it was where you get like the pins and needles. When you wake up sometimes, you slept on your arm and it's just asleep. I was already getting that, and she's like, yeah, this is going to be 30 minutes plus in the machine, and if you're not still, we have to retake the pictures because like the whole. So I'm like, do not move. So the first little segment of it was 20 seconds, then it was 20 seconds, and it was a minute, and then it was 5 minutes, and I'm like, it's good, they're getting longer. And eventually she says, like, we're halfway through, and I couldn't believe the time, but my arm is asleep at this point. And I was wondering to myself, is there permanent damage for blood not getting there? But then by the end, there's like 5 minutes left. I'm picturing trying to move my fingers, and it feels like my arm is just in this weird abyss where like space doesn't exist. I couldn't feel a thing. I don't. So then she's like, oh, are you doing okay, Jim? And I was like, yeah, my arm is completely numb, from the elbow down. And she's like, can you do 5 more minutes? And that's actually when I had the thought of like, okay, well, I don't really want to come out, like have to, restrap in and re-get this. So like, I think I can do 5 more minutes. And so yeah, we went for it. And then when it came out, I couldn't lift it up at all. So my left one was a little bit numb at that point, but I sat up, and it was like, there's a scene in the second Harry Potter movie, or in the books, Capo, if you've listened to it, you would know. Also, you haven't read it. Maybe you've seen the movie, where one of the professors tries to fix Harry's arm because the bone's broken, but he removes all the bone, and it's just the arm flopping around. That's what it was like. From the elbow down, it was as if there were no bones in my body and I couldn't move it. It was a really cool feeling, but not one that I want to experience anytime soon. But anyways, I guess it was all fine. I was in and out of there relatively quick, actually, all things considered. Home by about 2 a.m.
Why did they book you so late? Like, that's crazy. I've never heard of an MRI being booked that late.
My original time was 7 p.m. and then they called me to book it. They're like, yeah, can you do 7 p.m.? They ask you all these questions. Even yesterday, I got asked if I've ever taken shrapnel or a bullet before. And I guess they have to ask everybody, because I laughed. And she was like, yeah, usually the people who haven't been shot laugh at that one. And the people who have, you're like, okay, just nod along and keep going. They're like, yeah, I've been shot twice. Don't worry, the bullets are out of there. But yeah, so they called to book it. And then I got a letter saying, this is your time, show up at 30 minutes before the thing. It's at 12:45. I remember looking at it being like, excuse me, like why did it get changed? And then
they must have got bumped, or
and it really I guess shows our healthcare system, because I walked in and out of an MRI that, all things considered, I mean, unless it finds something really bad, it's not like I should be first in line for this thing. And I got it they booked it and I had it within a month. So pretty interesting nonetheless, that like how it all works. I'm pretty curious on the whole thing, because I feel like they haven't changed the technology since my last one I got when I was 12. It's like, I don't, it felt like the same kind of thing. You guys haven't had one? Or you have? You would have had one.
I've had a bunch, but standard.
I don't even know why I asked. I should have just assumed.
I didn't know that you could just MRI portions of the body. Like, every time I've had an MRI, it's been full body. But like, I also had full body issues. So even when it was like broken ribs and stuff like that, and all that fun stuff. But yeah, that's crazy. Like, that would be nuts. When you were saying that, I was just picturing Ace Ventura when he gets shot with all those poison darts and his arms are rubber.
Oh yeah.
He's just running around.
It was like that. It was such a weird. It came back pretty quick, all things considered. But it was just so nuts. Like, I'm kind of massaging it, and I can't feel anything in my whole, like, from the elbow down. It was pretty crazy.
Brutal.
Yeah.
I've never had an MRI done. I'm pretty sure I would freak out from like being so like close and just. I think the noise, right? Like you hear that woof woof, right? That
So
noise.
it was actually interesting because it was almost like different beats, which I was kind of happy. There was one that was really annoying,
nice.
but that was like a minute, and then the rest of it was kind of like, okay,
Just jam into
like
it.
the last one, I'll admit, I counted the noises that they made because she said 5 minutes, so I just started counting with them, and I was, eventually I figured that it was probably like 3 beeps or whatever, the 3 sounds per second. And I was just like, okay, I'm so close to being done. Like I think it's one of those things too. So I'm not a claustrophobic person, but when someone says you can't move or you can't do this, then all of a sudden in my head, I'm like, okay, now I'm claustrophobic. So it's like the idea of, I don't know, a good example for me, but when I'm on an airplane and I really, obviously like I can't get up to go to the bathroom freely. It's like I feel like I have to go even more at that exact time. Or like
I know that feeling.
When I'm on a bus, like I used to take the bus from Toronto to Hamilton all the time. And I would have days where I'm like, do I have to pee? Like, I don't know. And then I get on the bus and it's like, I'm all of a sudden a 9 out of 10 emergency. Like I should have gone. But I figured like, it's only like a 45-minute bus ride. I'll be fine. But then once I'm on the bus, that's where I become like my definition of claustrophobic. I get off and I forget I even have to go. So it was kind of like that, where as soon as she said, is your wrist going to be okay? And I was like, yeah. And I was like lying to myself because I swear it was like 5 minutes later, my wrist was like, oh yeah, you think we're going to be good, eh? But there's holes at the end of each side of the tunnel. So like you're not really totally trapped, and they give you earplugs. It's not like it's super like I didn't even think at one point it was loud. It's just like kind of annoying.
It was oddly soothing for me. Like for they were like 20 minutes, and move, and like they positioned me with my arms behind my head and my legs straight, and then they like put pillows on all sides of me to keep me still, and they're like, you can't move, and the same thing. For the sound of the thing, and it was kind of melodic, and I was not to gonna go to sleep, and she had to wake me up after it's done. She's like, "Sir," I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" It's time for you to leave. I was like, "Okay, see ya."
That's the way to do it. I fell asleep in my first one. That's like, and I even told her, she's like, "Do you have a problem with closed spaces like this?" And I was like, not really, but is it going to be an issue if I fall asleep? Like because that's the thing is, at least if I'm awake, I'm not going to move. But like it started at 1:15 in the morning. I'm normally asleep at that time. So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So the last thing I wanted to touch on here was just to switch gears a little bit. Was with Nick in general. If we could talk about your, I would say like if you could give us a general overview of like your career, like your whole career. I mean, you could talk about things like the show that you're on, or like even working in retail or the food and beverage industry, up to where you are now.
Done it all.
Like if I could mention one thing about you, man, is that you are very much a hard worker. And you always have that like I just need to work mindset, which is crazy discipline. I've always admired that about you. So if you could just like maybe dwell on that a little bit and tell us about your work history and what led you to the point you're at now.
Thanks, by the way. I've always been a crazy worker. My dad, my grandparents, both on both sides were crazy workers. So when I was 12, it was my first day on a roof. It was like the summer of grade 7. And my dad was like, all right, let's go. And my cousin and I started, I know, like the bundles of shingles were heavier than us. And I started doing that and reffing soccer at 12 years old. So I had 2 jobs back then, which was fun. And and then as soon as I turned 16, I started working retail as well, and still doing roofing in the summer.
Where was your first retail job? I know you worked at HM. Oh, Mark's Work Warehouse. That's right.
Yeah, right by your own place. Yeah,
that's right. Right by my first job.
Yeah, exactly. It was right around the corner from the old Quiznos. So So I just been always big into work, and making my own path with money and stuff like that. I would try to pay for my way through anything, buy my own cars, buy my own dirt bikes, all that fun stuff. I definitely was not good with money for the longest time, but started doing that, went to school for a bit, wasn't for me, and started kind of flipping houses with my parents and running their business with them. In 2016, my cousin and I were on Dragon's Den, probably in 2014, 2015. So my cousin came to me with another idea that he had for roofer.com. We were sitting on our patio. You guys were both at that place before on Madison in Toronto. So he came over, we went up on the patio. Some great times. And he just he said the idea. And I don't know, because of the computer stuff that I'm not good with. Said, if you could figure this out, I think you got a winner. And I said, if there's anything you need from me, I'm here. So he started doing it. I kind of was like giving help in any way I could. And then when he got accepted to Y Combinator, he called me and said, hey, we got in. I was like, that's so unreal. I'm so excited for you. So proud of you. He said, I need you to come and work for me now. And I was like, I don't know, man. I got to ask my parents. And so I told my parents, I was like, I'm not going to take the job. And they're like, yeah, you are. Like, you'd be crazy not to take that. And they convinced me that was the right play. And I started working with Richard, my cousin, who's the CEO of Roofer, 2016. And we've been building the company, building the team ever since then. So it's been a blast. I am a horrible workaholic. I have come to admit it. It is a deflection for my anxiety. I do not like standing still. It makes me very anxious. So I choose to be working as much as I can. And even like Jim's gone on vacations with me, and my vacations are going to a concert or a 4-day weekend where we'll go to Philadelphia, walk around the city for 3 days, and go see a band on one night. So that to be always moving. So it's a mixture of me being a hard worker and me being so anxious that I can't not stop moving. So it's a combo.
You know what? There's worse ways to deal with anxiety for sure. But as long as I've known you, I agree with what Rob said, to reiterate, like how hard you work. You've always had like minimum 2 jobs. I know there's a time I feel like you were working, like you were roofing, you were at the keg and HMV maybe. Or, you had like 3 jobs on top of that. I feel like we were in high school. No, maybe not. It would have been after.
We were in university at that time.
Yeah, university. But, we were still doing a band. You had school. You were working 3, like it was been pretty crazy. So yeah, good for you, man. And then now you're doing this and working out, doing huge bike rides, pushing yourself physically. To get back to your weight after, being sick is a really good accomplishment.
Yeah,
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been awesome, and of course it's been awesome to watch roofer.com grow, man. Like even seeing your cousin. I remember like a Facebook post I think that he made where he put on like the first like roofer.com sign back in the day. Like I remember that post, and I think that's when he started working too. It was like someone in Newmarket, I think, like the very first customer or one of the first customers or something like that. To see how much has grown over the years, it's been absolutely fantastic. So again, congrats to all your company success, and it's pretty cool, man. Just to see your entire work career grow to where you guys are at now. It's been awesome. So
thanks, I appreciate it. Same thing with this podcast, guys. You are 2 of my best friends, and when you guys said you were going to set this up, I was really excited for you guys. And I told you guys both, but when you did that first big drop of episodes, I think it was like 8 episodes or so, or maybe it was 12. The first drop,
first 10, yeah.
Something like that.
I listened to them all like back to back, texting you guys. I was like, guys, this is really good. Like it's like even outside of you guys being my good buddies that I talk to on a daily basis. It's just, it's nice. It's like, it's very easy to listen to. You learn a lot. And yeah, I've recommended it to many people.
Thanks, I appreciate that, man. And then coming from you is great to hear, because you are an avid podcast listener. So 100% appreciate that.
Thanks.
Okay, well, this has been episode 26 of the Crushing Through Life podcast.
July 26th.
July 26th. Oh, that's where it came from, because it's episode 26.
I think that's why you said it.
There you go.
Actually, before we go, Rob, let me just tell one story about.
Sure, go ahead,
I'm thinking of it now, about Capo working, and so he said that his dad's a hard worker.
Yeah.
So Nick got.
I know this story.
We were gonna go see a band in like Vaughan or Maple, just outside of our hometown, and Nick was supposed to drive us there, I think, and instead he got electrocuted at work. And you blew a fuse box?
No, I blew
the transformer.
10 square kilometers of transformers.
I didn't know if we wanted to talk about this story.
Well, we can talk about it. It's fine. It's it's your podcast, but.
So anyways, Nick's like almost dead. I said apparently his coworkers saw lightning shoot out of his feet. And so anyways, obviously we didn't go see the band, and we went to visit Nick in the hospital. And he's lying there in the gown in the bed. His mom's there, his dad's there. You know, we come in and like kind of say that we're good, and then like, you know, the jokes start to come, and Nick's dad says, "You know, Nicholas, that you have to be at work in the morning." And Nick's mom was just like, she started to cry, like, "Don't say it, don't say it." It was so funny. Like, I'll never forget that forever. Like, as long as I live, just your dad right away. Like, you can't be late for work, and he's lying in the bed, dead, almost fried.
Yeah, you got electrocuted. So what? You got to work the next day.
Yeah. My poor mother has had so many phone calls from me at all times of day and night, where it starts off with, "Hey, Mom, I'm good, but I need you to pick me up at the hospital." There's been so many of those phone calls to her. So
it's funny. We gave Rob a hard time, but you're the one that's like, at least Rob only injures his foot and he doesn't need to go to the hospital. When you have a tomorrow moment, you're down for a day at least in the hospital.
Yeah, I have a rich history from the hospital. It's like Tim the Toolman Taylor with every time we would go to the hospital, they would know by names. Thank you.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to share that before we took off.
That's okay. That's okay. That's a great story, Dad. Absolutely. So this has been episode 26 of the Crushing Through Life podcast with your host Rob and Jim, and our guest Nicholas Capobianco. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you joining and telling us your stories. If you haven't already, visit us at linktree.com/crushingthroughlife, where you can view all of our links to our socials. And if you could, head over to YouTube, search for Crushing Through Life, and subscribe. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.